Hi guys, my name is Tanya and these are my 2017 priority books. So these aren't anticipated books, they are books that are already on my shelves. They aren't even necessarily books that I'm excited to get to, they are the niggly books that have been hanging around that I need to read for whatever reason and that I just haven't got to, but I can't discount them until I've at least tried to read them. I would describe them as the books that I want to shift from my shelves as quickly as possible, for better or for worse. And let's get straight down to it. First up is a book that I just need to finish because I have been reading it for over 2 years now, and that is Mary Berry, Recipe for Life. This is the autobiography of a British baking icon, and it was a present from my mum due to my obsession with the Great British Bake Off. I've really enjoyed what I've read so far because whilst Mary is very conventional in some ways, she's also pushed a lot of boundaries in terms of being a working woman. And she also bakes really, really nice cakes. It also has a recipe after every chapter, which is just really adorable. I just lost momentum and never got round to finishing it. The next 4 books are all books that I have been lent by friends, and I really need to just read them and give them back because I've already had all of them for a very long time already. The first of these is 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson. This was lent to me by Beth after I really enjoyed Maureen Johnson's section in Let It Snow, which is a Christmas anthology compilation thing. And I read that over 2 years ago now, so she lent this to me very soon after that and I still have it. I live with her, so it's not so bad. This follows Ginny on an adventure set up for her by her aunt, who leaves her 13 little blue envelopes to follow, and it just sounds very cute and whimsical and I need to read it. Next up is Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. This one was also lent to me by Beth and I have wanted to read it for the longest time. This is the story of Kathy, Ruth and Tommy, who were children together at an exclusive boarding school. Now that they're grown up, Kathy and Tommy have re-entered Ruth's life and she's beginning to realise why they were always told about how special they were. And I know that there's a lot more going on under the surface than is given away by the blurb, so I'm just super duper excited to dig into that. The next book is Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe by Fanny Flagg. In the 1980s we follow 2 women as Mrs. Fredgood tells her story to Evelyn, who is facing her middle age. Simultaneously, Mrs. Fredgood is telling the tale of 2 women in Whistle Stop, Alabama during the 1930s. And these are tomboy Iggy and her friend Ruth, as together they run a cafe known for good barbecue, really good coffee, and also maybe murder. I watched the film adaptation with a friend and she really recommended the book, as it's generally considered to have much more overt lesbian themes in it than the film does. But to be honest, I love the film, so I'm really excited to read the book no matter what subtexts are or aren't there. The final book that has been lent to me is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I was lent this by a friend who I think said he thought that I might relate to one of the characters in it. The cast are a team of wormhole builders who all come from greatly different backgrounds as they work together aboard this ship to do their job. And I've heard really great things about this, not just from my friend but from BookTube in general, so I'm really pumped to get to this one. The next 4 books are books that I don't think I'm going to want to keep after I've finished reading them, so I want to get to them ASAP so that I can get them off my shelves to make some room. The first of these is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I picked this up in a charity shop just after I'd discovered BookTube and everyone was talking about it. It sounds intriguing. Black handprints appearing on doorways, an art student who's drawing monsters that may or may not be real, and a star-crossed love rooted in a violent past. Once again, this is a book that I just never got round to. Next is Stoner by John Williams. At some point, this was being recommended all over the place by a lot of different sources, and that was the point at which I picked this up on a buy one get one half price deal in Waterstones. And I don't know why, because even if it was buy one get one half price and it was being highly recommended, this doesn't sound like my sort of thing. But I feel like I should at least give it a go. This follows William Stoner, who is born into a poor Missouri farming family at the end of the 19th century, and throughout his life he faces a series of disappointments. Everyone I know that has read this has rated it highly, so I'm gonna give it a go and see what I think. The next book is A Street Cat Named Bob by James Bowden. This is the true story of James's time on the streets and of the ginger cat who adopted him and changed his life. An animal-loving friend recommended this to me because of Bob, but I need to read this anyway because I feel that I could be a lot more empathetic towards people on the streets, and I think it would be good for more people to gain some insight into those stories. Next is my nemesis, The Magic Faraway Tree by Enid Blyton. This is the one book on my 100 books challenge which I am dreading reading. I never enjoyed Enid Blyton as a child. I had a collection of some of her stories and there was one in the whole book that I remotely enjoyed. And I have started reading this and I can tell you already that I still do not like Enid Blyton. This follows 3 irritating children as they head off on adventures which are mainly caused by them being annoying and then blaming their problems on other people. So this book is a free book collection and I'm pretty sure that the book I'm supposed to read for my challenge is only the middle of this giant ass book. So I'm probably going to finish that second section and DNF it because I still hate Enid Blyton. My final book today is a book that I have pretty much been excited to read my entire life. And that is The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas. I have been obsessed with The Three Musketeers pretty much my entire life. My favourite show as a child was D'Artagnan and the Muskehounds, which I now own on DVD in spite of how awful it is. My dad bought me the box set of the more recent TV series of The Musketeers for Christmas. I just never got round to reading this book. I haven't had the staying power to read big books for a couple of years now for some reason, so I'm just going to be super duper happy to address this year because this book, I need to tick it off my list. It's been waiting for me my whole life. So yeah, these books are my priority for 2017. I'm not saying that I'm going to read them all at once because there are a lot of other things that I want to read, but I would like to have all of these off of my TBR by the end of the year. Have you got any books hanging around on your shelf that have been there for a little bit too long, or are you just a lot more organised than me? Let me know down below. I hope that you're having a lovely day and I will see you all again very, very soon. Goodbye!